Arch Manning, once again, when he gets out there, has people talking about him, and it's an interesting situation, I would think, certainly with Quinn Ewers coming back. He's going to be there. He's going to be their guy. What is the Arch Manning timetable right now?
I think it hasn't changed. I think the only thing I would think might have changed a little, I don't even say that's not fair to say it, but is there's just more fan excitement about Arch Manning because now they've seen it as opposed to just heard about, oh, he was a 5-star and he's the next Manning. Everything it sounds like his development is coming along really, really well. I don't think, again, we talked about this a few months ago.
We did.
When Ewers announced he was staying and I was just like, well, Ewers, I don't think was going to be a first-round pick. I'm not surprised he was staying. And I don't think this is a quarterback battle. They're not going to, if Ewers, shameless self-promotion, I'm excited. Our Fox Big Noon crew is going to have Texas going to your beloved alma mater, Michigan.
I think it's a maze out that night. They already announced it.
Not wait. Now, and the Michigan Wolverines, the one thing I know they're really going to have is a really nasty D-line. They will be really good up front. Somehow, and again, this is a good Texas offensive line, really good Texas offensive line. If they get after Ewers and pull what I think a lot of people will look at as an upset, given all that Michigan had, does Steve Sarkisian go, oh, maybe I make I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the one way Arch gets in there this coming year, is if there's a quarterback injury. And look, Ewers missed time each of the last 2 seasons. Malik Murphy had to come in and start last year. I think that's what it is. Again, what you're looking at right now, I think, is a really good quarterback room for Texas. You have a proven starter who they keep working with, who's going into last year, learned to become more of a leader, and that was something that, I think he's grown a lot. And you have a really promising young player who's really smart and very athletic and is blossomed more as a passer. I think it's a great situation for Sark, and I think it's a great situation for Arch because he doesn't need to be thrown out there. He's still a young quarterback. I mean, it's a big jump from where he played in high school to now you're in the SEC. So he'll probably play a bunch this year in 2024, and then he'll be the guy next year, I suspect. We don't know how everything's going to play out this year, but I think he'll play a lot this year, and he'll keep developing, and that's a good situation for, I think, everybody in Texas.
Well, let's take this a few steps at a time here, because what normally adds pressure to the cooker? One is if the kid demands playing time. That doesn't sound like that.
I don't think Arch Manning is doing that.
Exactly right. Or the famous family pressures behind the scenes for playing time. That doesn't appear to be the case. That doesn't sound like their MO, even though some people would be, well, didn't Archie once upon a time force where Eli wound up getting drafted? I
think that's different, though. That's a drafted thing. Again, and I don't know Cooper. I barely know Cooper Manning, but I think they helped place him here in this situation,
knowing that Ewers might stick around
one
more year.
No, they were like I think realistically, look, I definitely think there's some things that people around that program are like, oh, I kind of like this more about Arch than maybe I like about Ewers. Ewers has started for 2 years, and he, by the way, they almost made it to the national title game last year.
Correct.
It's not like he can't play.
No, I know that.
He has a good arm, everything. So
that's part of the intrigue here. And again, this is potentially a completely moot point, but this is a very famous family with a very, very hyped young man, not of his own doing. He's just living his life. Okay.
Yeah. And everything I've heard is he's a really bright young quarterback who's very athletic.
Who looked terrific in the spring game.
It is, yes, but it is a spring game. Let's pump the brakes on the spring game.
I know that, but that's part of the conversation is how much playing time will he get? How much playing time would he want? How much playing time was expected for him to have gotten by this point in time? And if any of those timelines have been altered, what does that mean? You're basically saying nothing.
I'm saying that I think they probably are going to be pretty confident if Quinn Ewers gets hurt, like he has the last 2 years, that Arch Manning can go in and can run the offense, make plays when he has to, and can get rid of the ball. I think they're very confident in that. If Quinn Ewers wasn't, a 2-year starter and didn't almost lead them to the national title game, if he was just a run-of-the-mill, and I don't want to bag on any, former quarterbacks who are, and throw out a name. If he was just an average starter, I think it would be a little more drama into it. But this is a guy, again, they were really good last year, and he has developed. I'm not saying, I don't think he's Caleb, and I don't think he's like some of the quarterbacks that we just talked about, but he's talented. It's not like he's not. And I think let Arch keep developing, and then when he gets in, now what would be interesting is if he does get in and they have to play him because of an injury, and then he plays lights out. Then that's a good problem probably for Steve Sarkisian to have. But again, I don't want to compare him to Malik Murphy, because Malik Murphy was a kid who was big, strong arm, sharp kid, but had never really played a lot of football because he came out of, during the COVID recruiting cycle and everything. He went in there and there was some good and some not, he needs more time. And now if Arch goes in there, when he gets in there and tears it up, then I think, but I just don't, I just don't see him going in going, all right, you saw the spring game. If you're not going to say it's an open competition going into fall camp, we're going to look at the highest bidder. Cause it's just I don't think, them doing anything. It's not like NIL reasons are going to matter to the Mannings. It's just what's the best situation for this kid? Because he's still really young.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.